person, but I assume only to the regular.
Someone's gonna
Okay.
wanna take that. Got it.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hello.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Morning.
Yes, Jim and Cheryl, I'm letting everyone know I'm streaming from home to spare my coworkers my apparent head cold that I've developed over the last 48 hours.
Very kind of you.
So let's see. Oh, I don't have my watch on.
So are
So
we
yeah,
ready to start? Are we waiting to get hooked? Are we waiting? to
we
get
have
hooked
a
up?
quorum for governance. Amy, I'll let you
know.
know that Mayor Cram is expected to join us for executive session. We have I don't see him on just yet, but we do have a few items that we can cover in the interim.
All right, very
There
good.
it is.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is the acceptance of the February 7th, 2022 Governance Committee meeting transcript. Carrie sent this out to all members. They had an opportunity to review it and make any revisions. So we will accept the transcript for the record. The next item on the agenda is public comment. Members of the community have an opportunity to address the committee for 5 minutes. All we ask is that you give us your name and address, and the floor is yours. So at this time, we'll open it up to public comment. If there's anyone who would like to speak at this time. Okay, seeing or hearing none, we'll close the public comment section of the meeting and move on to our first item agenda. It's a review, discussion, recommendation to accept an application from Leighton Lumber LLC, doing business as Poland Lumber and Building Supplies, and authorizing a New York State and local sales and use tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $12,000 for a term not to exceed 12 months, consistent with the policies of the agency in connection with the construction, expansion, and equipping of the property and building located at 552 Old Front Street in the town of Dickinson. Stacy.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, this is a nice project, an expansion project of a local business here, Poland Lumber, which has been in business in Broome County for quite some time. Brenda Leighton, I believe you just joined via telephone. Is that you? I think we do have Brenda Leighton.
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Should the governance committee have questions, but just briefly, the project will include a first-story addition of roughly just shy of 500 square feet, a second-story office, conference room, and break room of roughly 926 square feet, with adjoining stair vestibule of 164 square feet. The existing building includes an 8,962 square foot warehouse and covered storage area adjoining for existing showroom space of about 962 square feet. So the total project cost on this is about $195,000. Eligible sales tax exemptions would bring a benefit of $12,000 to the project. And as I mentioned, Brenda Leighton is on the phone. Should the board have any questions, but again, a nice project as they continue to grow and expand in the market.
Any questions for either Stacy or Brenda?
Do I have any questions?
No, Brenda, if the governance committee had
sorry.
any for you. Nope, that's okay.
Okay.
Feel free to ask
All right.
us questions if you want.
No, I don't have any. Thank you.
Okay, all right, I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Jim, so moved.
For a
Second.
Second, Cheryl, moved by Jim, second by Cheryl. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? A motion is carried. Next item on the agenda is a review, discussion, recommendation to approve an extension of the June 10th, 2021 sales and use tax exemption agreement and the June 10th, 2021 sales and use tax exemption increase agreement of EJ Victory Building LLC from February 17th, 2022 through and including February 17th, 2023, the total of which shall not exceed $1,848,000. Stacy.
Yes, so as I think I mentioned in a previous meeting, I think any projects that we've approved through COVID are seeing the same situation occur where they're either seeing increased costs or increased delays in supplies. So this one falls in that category. Matthew Paulus is seeking just only a extension of the term. So he's just asking for extra time for that benefit due to a number of construction delays, material delays. The project itself, however, is on track. Actually, staff and I just met with Matthew recently. He's actually planning a groundbreaking event in early March, which he would like the board to attend, plans to get underway very quickly with the project, and this benefit will just help him through the construction phase as is intended. And I do believe Mark Jenkins, who's representing Paulus Development, just jumped on the call if anyone had questions for him.
I have a question, Stacy.
Mhm.
That sales and use tax exemption, they're supposed to adhere to the local labor language on that, correct?
Yes.
From my understanding, the framing, finishing, and windows are all being handled by out-of-town contractors. And local contractors put prices in.
And locals, okay. I will check. I don't know if we've had a waiver request come in. I can go back and check on that. I don't recall. Mark, I don't know if, I know Mark's just joined Paulus Development. I don't know if you have any comments to Mr. Crocker's question or statement there, but we can.
Not at this
Stacy,
time.
it's
I have
Mark-
apologies for that. Go ahead. Matt.
Stacy, I'm on the phone.
Hi,
So,
Matthew. I didn't see you there. Thanks.
Dan, regarding those items that had reference, I believe all of those have been bid in accordance with the policies that are required under the economic benefits provided. The windows in particular, these are custom historic replica windows, which are only sourced and supplied by certain national vendors. In this case, the windows are being purchased by a company out of Buffalo. The processes were adhered to and the agency should have received, and if they haven't, we will ensure that it is, but I'm almost certain that we did provide a waiver request for that specific item. It was very similar to the Ansco Camera Factory project, but the vendor is based out of Buffalo, out of New York State. The folks that are able to compete and bid on this project are national vendors. So we were able to keep that in New York State, which I think is a big win. The other question you had on the carpentry work, that was competitively bid. I know a lot of local firms were bid on it, but based upon the scope of work and pricing, a waiver request was submitted on that. There was a material difference on that. And that was also adhered to with the program. But I would say for the most part, Dan, if we look at the MEPs and the major trades on this, from Schuler Haas to Slavic, this project is, the largest percentage of these projects are local Broome County contractors, subcontractors. And LaChase Construction Services, which is a locally based construction management firm, is also the CM on the project as well.
Stacy, how does the waiver process work? A developer submits a waiver to you, and then you approve it. It doesn't have to come to us, does it?
No, typically it would go to operations. So Tom historically has approved those waivers. And what would occur is we would request, the demonstration of a competitive bidding process. So we can verify that as well. I think that's the most important piece, that, we can demonstrate that the project was, that local contractors had the opportunity to bid. We don't, mandate that, but we do mandate that they have the opportunity to bid. And I know with the windows, in the case of historic projects, there are limited vendors that can meet the state's criteria for historic tax credits. I am checking in on the waiver request with Natalie, and we will produce that for the board just for our purposes. But that's typically the process. I'm checking with Tom as well.
Well, the last time I had asked Tom, he said there was no waivers at that time. That was. a couple
We're
months ago.
checking on that. Yep, we're checking on that, Dan. Thank you for bringing that up.
Mhm. I know the company that's doing the drywall and stuff, they've had past indiscretions, let's say. They were made to pay back 380,000 in wages that were to their workers. So I hope they've changed their ways since that. They were forced to pay back those back wages. I mean, those when contractors do that type of stuff, they damage the whole industry. They don't pay because they were paying them as independent contractors instead of employees. So that way they don't have to pay unemployment insurance and compensation on them. And those are unfair bidding practice. They just want to make sure everything's on the up and up.
Appreciate
Where are they
that.
based out of, Dan?
Liverpool, Syracuse.
Yeah, hopefully so. Any additional questions at this time for Stacy or Matt?
And former Mayor Bucci, just to add to Stacy too, so just to put this in perspective, and this is obviously a massive investment into the area. The construction costs increases that this project has had to handle, although I'm sure there will be more in the future as we have not seen anything abate, but we needed to develop a solution to put together a construction loan closing. As the board is probably aware, we did close the construction loan right before Thanksgiving of this past year. Based upon the sheer size and scope of this project, it is a multi-year project. We will, at this point, we are not asking for an increase in terms of the economic benefits, but more or less the timeline to fit the project. The original application was submitted in February 2021. The construction loan, we were not able to bring together all the sources and uses until November. We are grateful for the board and their support to help us do that and overcome some of those challenges. But we do anticipate this project most likely extending past February 1st, 2023, and coming back to the board and requesting some additional time with this. It is 156 apartments. I think everyone's familiar with the building. It's a complex project, but we are on track. It is very exciting to see what has gone on so far. I know there's still a lot of room to go, and there's a lot of supply chain and labor shortages that we'll have to work through over the coming months. But this is going to be a fantastic project, and we are 100% invested behind this and appreciate the continued support of this board. And as Stacy mentioned too, we will be sending out formal invites to everyone. We are looking to host a formal groundbreaking the first part of March, and would appreciate if the board could participate in celebrating at least this moment in time to start construction and to see some of the progress that is underway at the building.
Very good.
Thank you, Matthew.
Any additional questions for Matt or Stacy? Okay, thanks, Matt. At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion, Cheryl, is there a second?
Jim,
Second, Jim, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a review discussion recommendation to approve summary results of confidential evaluation of board performance. Stacy.
Yes, this is part of an annual review that we do administratively at this time every year. So the board was sent out a summary results survey of board performance and has since completed, and those results were shared with the board. And I do believe John reached out to you as well to discuss any items on that list. Really, the purpose for today is to accept and approve the summary results of that evaluation.
Any questions for Stacy at this time? Okay, entertain a motion.
Jim,
Is there a second?
And the motion's just to send this to the entire board for discussion?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Second.
Mhm.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Um, Next item is a review, discussion, recommendation to approve the 2021 mission and measurement report. Stacy.
Again, also an annual review that we do of our performance against strategic planning and annual budget. We do this for both the IDA and the LDC. So it is a self-evaluation of 2021 performance for the IDA. And so some of those key items that were included in your packet is facilitated for meetings and forums of key stakeholders to discuss physical and technology infrastructure necessary to support community economic development, continue to proactively work with municipalities to prepare for new business development, supported existing new businesses and developers by identifying grants and internal financing opportunities to fill project gaps, and prepared and initiated an asset and project development profile mapping for target areas in each community, continued to pursue new industry sector clusters and supply chain development to enhance local strengths such as healthcare, manufacturing, energy storage, and hemp, and expanded the reach of our business retention initiative. Purpose of today's action will be to approve the mission and measurement report provided by staff. And then this
Okay,
also subsequently will get posted to the website.
Okay, is there any questions at this time for Stacy? Okay, entertain a motion.
Jim?
Is there a second?
Second,
Second,
Cheryl.
Cheryl. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Next item on the agenda is a review, discussion, recommendation to approve the readoption of the agency bylaws and policies and procedures, code of ethics policy, whistleblower protection policy, defense and indemnification policy, compensation reimbursement and attendance policy, and travel policy with no changes. Stacy.
Again, our annual
Summary.
review.
Pose first, though. Could you
What's
give us a
that?
summary? I said, could you give us a summary of each one of those?
Right. Yeah, exactly. This is our annual process of reviewing policies, procedures especially our bylaws and all related policies to review and essentially determine if any modifications should be changed due to changing, market climates, etc. Staff has reviewed and at this time feel no need for changes to our policies as currently written.
Any questions for Stacy? Earlier, we talked about the conflict of interest. We discussed, I don't know if did we make changes to that, or remember we updated that about what the procedure was for notifying us of a conflict of interest. Does that fall under one of these? Is it?
The conflict of interest policy just sort of sets forth the framework for
Right.
how we define a conflict. The action that we discussed, more of the protocol or process involved, just is what we're trying to make sure of in advance of meeting dates, is that a notification be provided to governance chair. So that would be you, Mayor, director, myself, and council, so that we have adequate time to review if something, council can review and determine if it is a conflict. Sometimes there are questions, I'm on this board, not sure if that's a conflict, those types of things. So sort of just defining in more detail the process of which board members can notify, and we can verify that. But the policy and the framework for conflicts of interest hasn't changed per se. It's more just our internal action item.
Our procedures for reviewing it, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions at this time? Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion, Cheryl.
Jim second.
Second, Jim, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, next is to go into executive session. Is the mayor on at this point? Do we know?
Yes,
Yes,
and I
Amir.
want to make sure, and I appreciate this feedback from Cheryl. I want to make sure moving forward that I do provide per Authority Budget Office guidelines, a framework and public session of the purpose for our executive session. So the purpose for today's executive session is related to the sale of property at 11 Court Street in the city of Binghamton, a potential purchase of land by the IDA in Broome County, and thirdly, a potential modification to a project agreement that I need to discuss with the board in executive session.
I move that we go into executive session for those purposes.
For a second? All in
Second.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
We will now move into executive session.
So Amy, just make sure every